Hello, everybody. Welcome to the episode 0 of this podcast. I am going to be Lulu's Soul, and I am joined by Yami Brooke and Hatter. And we're not quite sure what we're doing yet.
We also don't know what this is called yet.
Indeed, we don't.
That is something we're going to be figuring out today, so I hope you all listening will look forward to going with us on our journey. I'm going to do a short introduction of what is this? What are we doing here? And we are creating a kind of an anime book club of sorts. Is what I keep wanting to say it is. Basically, we will each be talking about anime that we have watched over the previous 2 weeks. We are doing this by the 3-episode rule. Do you guys know what the 3-episode rule is?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you should explain it anyways.
I should. For anyone who doesn't know what the 3-episode rule is, the 3-episode rule is the idea that an anime will be made or broken by the first 3 episodes. If you're not interested by then, you're probably not going to like the anime. I am very firm, and there are exceptions to this rule, aka One Piece.
Right.
One Piece needs like a first 50 episodes, though.
I was banking around 200.
I was being generous.
It took me a while, but once it gets you, oh, does it get you? Oh.
Look, yeah. One Piece is glorious. I just don't have time for it. Just like I don't have time for a lot of things.
Yeah, it is definitely a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Commitment.
Commitment, yes. And now...
also, a heads up, anime book club is already taken, even though it doesn't look like they're still active.
Oh, no, I definitely don't want... Okay, so not anime book club. That is not going to be our name. But
We'll
it's
a name.
Yeah, we'll work. It's better to find out it exists before we decide on it than to get, like, 5 episodes in.
And be like, hey, you're using our name. I'm sorry.
Rebranding is hard.
Yeah.
It's a mood.
But each episode is going to be themed. The episode 1, which will come out...
In the future.
When it's ready.
Yes, it will come out when it's ready. But the the theme for episode 1 is going to be anime this season. We've each chosen an anime that we are interested in. We're going to give it a 3-episode rule, and we're going to talk about it. But we're not going to talk about them today, outside of maybe sharing their names, because, well, we've got a whole episode scheduled for that. So instead, what I think we are going to talk about today is ourselves. We've mentioned a little bit of what the podcast is going to be, and like we've mentioned, we're going to workshop the name. But who are we, and why should you care?
Because I said so.
I'm less interested in the why you should care. I mean, you're either here or you're not.
That's fair. But for those who are like, why should I listen to a bunch of light up avatars on the internet?
Because I'm a shark with a top hat.
It's very true. He's a shark. If I am correct in this, all 3 of us has been watching anime and reading manga on and off for what, you guys, like 25 years? Wait,
at least 16 for me.
I mean, knowing what anime is, let's go with that. So about 20 years for me.
Yeah, because I'm 31, so maybe not 25 years, maybe closer to 20 years.
Yeah.
Because I think I was like 11 when I started getting into anime.
Yeah. Like, did I watch Sailor Moon in kindergarten? Absolutely. Did I know it was anime? No.
I think I didn't really get into anime like hardcore until around 16-ish when I started catching Adult Swim.
The gateway anime.
Yeah. My first email was Inuyasha Girl 1992.
So fun fact about Inuyasha. When I first started watching, now random episode I caught on Adult Swim, right, you guys?
Yeah.
I thought Inuyasha was Kagome.
That's great.
It sounded like a girl's name to me, so I thought that Inuyasha was Kagome.
Sure, why not?
I mean, let's be honest, we've all heard weirder anime.
Speaking of which, here's something that we can talk about, since we're just getting to know each other and the podcast. What was your first anime, and what was the anime that you were too young to watch but did so anyway?
I'm gonna hand
I'd
this
say
over
my
to
first
Yami.
anime was Sailor Moon. Not counting Pokemon, which that was around the same time anyway, but I'd say it was Sailor Moon.
And what was the anime that you watched as a kid that you had no business watching?
First one?
Yes.
Probably Gravitation.
Yeah, you watched the anime? I read the manga for that.
I did both.
Nice.
I had my dealer at school, and yeah, I was younger than my daughter, and that disturbs me.
I have a Gravitation story myself, also including a dealer at school. But what about you, Hatter?
So I remember the first couple, but the first one that really stuck out to me was Cowboy Bebop.
Nice.
With the fantastic dub on Adult
What?
Swim. But first one I was too young to watch, I honestly don't know. That was a long time ago.
Wait, so how old were you when you were watching Cowboy Bebop?
Well, I was like 16.
Then I would probably say Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop's not that bad.
Not, I mean, compared to
Compared to a lot
X.
of shows, it's really not that bad.
yeah. Like,
I mean, it's-
I remember borrowing my dealer's X 1999
Claire.
VHS, and like, let's just not let my parents see any of this.
For me, my first anime was realistically Dragon Ball Z / Dragon Ball that I got into knowing what anime was.
Yeah.
The first anime I watched that I was way too young to be watching at the time was Neon Genesis Evangelion.
That's fair.
I was 11 and grew up in a fairly religious small town. And Neon... Huh?
I was just gonna say my grandma once saw the DVD of Descendants of Darkness that I borrowed, and she had a conversation with me about the symbols on it.
Oof.
Oh, if only you knew, Grandma. If only you knew how much you would have hated that.
Oh, but like Neon Genesis, let's see what all it introduced me to. Mild
Depression?
nudity, depression,
Yup.
anxiety. Did not know it at the time, but PTSD. That there was religion outside of Christianity that was also attached to the Bible. Religious doubt. Depression.
Child abuse.
Child abuse.
Child neglect.
It's a complicated series.
Suicide.
It is.
Trigger
Yeah.
warning.
Yeah. But you don't watch Neon Genesis Evangelion to enjoy it. You watch Neon Genesis Evangelion to experience it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, one of the things that I would like to really dive into, considering what I know of the three of us, when we're talking about some anime, is I definitely want to get into mental health stuff in regards to what we are watching.
Oh, like trigger warnings, things like that?
Trigger warnings, but also, and this is one of the reasons I brought up, like, the anime you were too young to watch. I was way too young, not necessarily to watch Evangelion, but to watch it on my own and not have anybody to talk to about what was in that show.
Totally agree with that. Yeah.
And nowadays, like, if we think that, you know, we grew up in the only time with access to disturbing anime, there are preteens watching Attack on Titan.
I will raise that further, that they're preteens watching stuff like Tokyo Ghoul.
Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah, there's some dangerous stuff out there if
And-
you don't have someone to talk to.
This to be a semi-open forum for just, if one of you viewers out there are younger, or maybe you just need this type of conversation in general, I want there to be a resource where you hear us or somebody talking about the more serious sides of what can be unpacked and the feelings and emotions from anime outside of just, oh my god, you guys, there was blood and it was so cool.
Boobs.
There will be a lot of boobs.
Well, it's anime.
Yeah. But no, on a serious note, I 100% agree with you. And my biggest thing about everything that I do, sure, I love doing art, sure, I love playing video games, I love talking about anime, all of that, but at the core of everything I do is about reaching out and connecting with people and opening up the conversation for those such things. So I am 100% on board with that.
I will say, none of us, however, are therapists. So please don't take anything we say as professional advice.
This is a conversation. This is a connection. This is not professional therapy. Speaking of things to unpack emotionally, like, I almost feel like Fruits Basket shouldn't just have one episode, like it should be a
whole series.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll leave that one entirely to you two and let you just
dive into Fruits Basket.
Excuse me, sir, you are currently watching Fruits Basket with me.
Yes, but if I'm not there, you guys can talk about the entire series.
Or we could plan this episode for when you and I finally finish watching Fruits Basket.
Like, we can do both. We can have an episode where all three of us talk about Fruits Basket. And then, like, instead of taking up main podcast time doing it, if you wanted to, Lulu, we could have shorter segments of us talking about each episode of Fruits Basket.
Side story, let's unpack.
Yeah.
Oh, we could.
Yeah, and then, like, we can just release those in between the other stuff.
That's true.
Like, there's nothing stopping from us if we find the time.
I feel like we might need something similar done with a reincarnated as a slime, though, or Jujutsu Kaisen.
Fullmetal Alchemist, or...
Glad I can ramble about any of those. I know a lot.
No, we can have some fun with it.
You guys can't see, but I'm nodding very seriously into the mic right now.
Subtle.
But also, there will be boobies.
Yes. There will also be boobies.
Look, you gotta offset the depression somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, like, depending on what we're watching, there's gonna be at least one fart joke.
Oh god, there's so many fart jokes in Naruto.
I didn't even think about that.
It's not as bad in Shippuden, but...
Yeah.
What about Baruto's dad? Wait, that's what we're talking about. I didn't say the joke right.
It's okay, Lulu. You tried.
I did.
It still made me sad, if that makes you feel better.
Yay!
Don't be happy about that.
Ooh, I've got another question.
Mm-hmm.
What is an anime that you watched when you didn't know much about anime, so you didn't like it because you didn't necessarily get it, but that you might find hilarious now? I get it, very specific questions here.
I don't know, because generally if I didn't enjoy the anime I was watching, I kind of just forgot about it.
Half the time, even if I do enjoy the anime, I still might forget about it.
That's very fair. So this might be...
I enjoyed this, but it was not memorable.
This might be specific to me then. The person who actually introduced me to anime introduced me to something called XL Saga.
I vaguely remember that XL Saga was a thing. I never watched it.
Good. It was bad, so
Okay.
I thought. It's obnoxious, it's hyper, people die every episode, and then you get it's all about this girl who she's like the minion of an evil overlord, and she keeps dying and being brought back to life, and her best friend is anemic and keeps vomiting up blood.
Okay, so I actually remember this series, and I actually was very grumpy about it.
Really?
Because one of my friends kept trying to compare it to Fooly Cooly.
Ah.
Clearly
I
was
was just
glorious.
sitting there. I was just sitting there the whole time going, they are not similar at all. And his argument was something along the lines of, well, they're so silly and random. And I'm like, Fooly Cooly has a plot.
Does
it's
it?
actually kind of sad and depressing.
Not gonna lie, I've never seen more than an episode of Fooly Cooly.
There's only like 6.
I know.
Yeah.
I hated Excel Saga. There, by the way, there's more than 6 episodes of Excel Saga. There's like somewhere between 12 to 23. And my friend made me marathon all of them. I hated this anime. Now that I am older, I understand it's a parody anime.
Yeah.
It exists to make fun of anime and anime tropes. Like, the manga writer of that anime gets murdered in the anime.
You can't make somebody marathon a parody anime who doesn't know anime yet.
Well,
we were like 11.
As a side note, One Punch Man is technically a parody.
Yeah,
you can marathon the crap out of that.
Yeah, because it's good.
Rude, but fair.
But yeah,
look, if the medium is good, it doesn't matter what it's about.
And Excel Saga was parodying very specific anime tropes that if you haven't seen anime, you're not gonna know what they are. Like, I think in episode 1, she's running. Actually, whoa! Episode 1 is probably way more hilarious than I remember. This might have to go in the 3 episode rule for me. If I remember right, she is running down the street with a piece of toast in her mouth, and she gets hit by a bus.
Well, Bus-chan is a standard character in anime.
Nice.
It is now. This was made probably in like the 1990s or the 1980s.
Yeah.
Fair.
Also, a comment on the toast and the running with the toast thing. I remember when Sailor Business was Sailor Business is a podcast that they watched every single episode of Sailor Moon in the movies, and gave their thoughts on them. One of them even read the corresponding books by Leanne Centaur, until they ended, because the books didn't go on very long, and compared those to each episode and such. Anyway, they're great. If you ever want to watch a podcast or listen to a podcast about 2 grown men talking about Sailor Moon, it's great. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the toast in the mouth. I remember they kept complaining about, she still doesn't have toast in her mouth. I've seen that meme all over the place. I feel like there should have been toast in the mouth by now. Until like episode 6 or something.
Wow.
We finally get her running with toast, and I'm like, yeah, that was a popular scene, but she didn't actually run with toast a lot. In the first episode, they complained about it in the first episode. It's like, no, she skipped breakfast. And that's why she ate her lunch in the hallway, and she got in trouble for it.
I'll take y'all's word for it.
I actually don't. Like, I remember the missing breakfast part now that you've mentioned it. Mm-hmm. But Sailor Moon was the show that came on way too early in the morning for me.
It did. It was like 5 in the morning.
It was. So I got to watch like only random episodes of it. And then in college, I marathoned all but Sailor Stars every single season, like in a row. And as a result, I remember very little of a lot of the plot.
I've still never watched Sailor Stars.
It's supposed to be really good.
I know that they changed things. I know that they changed things from the manga. Like, they changed them to men, and in the manga it was ambiguous-ish.
Oh, see, that's interesting.
They are super obviously men who turn into women.
I mean, I'm not complaining about that.
I mean, look, if it were like that from the beginning, I wouldn't be complaining about it. But it's a change they made, and I have a problem with that.
I know nothing about what we're talking about here.
I wonder if...
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So, there is a last season of Sailor Moon that originally never made it to the United States. Like, it was never dubbed. Yeah. I think that may have changed now with the remake of Sailor Moon with Crystal.
Yeah. They've redubbed everything with the Funimation dub.
Yeah. So Stars might actually have a dub now, but originally it did not. And it was an entire season revolving around the Sailor Stars, which was a different team of Sailor Scouts that our Sailor Scouts interact with, except in
a completely different galaxy.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
In the anime, they're men who transform into women when they become Sailor Scouts.
Okay.
Versus in the manga, it was kind of ambiguous. Like, you look at their frames, though. You look at their shoulders, you look at their builds, and it's like... I mean, it's ambiguous, but then you look at them next to their Sailor Guardian forms, and it's like, yeah, that's the same person. But in the anime, it's like, yeah, giant shoulders. These are men. You see one with like after he gets out of the shower. Again, I've never actually watched Sailor Stars, but I have seen scenes. Like it's not the same thing. It's like they briefly skimmed over the Sailor Stars arc, and then they made a season.
I mean,
so
that's a lot of the original anime. To be fair.
Do you guys want to maybe save the rest of that for the Sailor Moon episode?
Oh my god, yes, you're right.
Maybe.
We're supposed to be talking about ourselves, guys.
We are. Well, we're showing like what our loves as anime fans. As Hatter just shakes his head at us in shark.
Yes.
I love how even your shark face looks sad.
Just disappointment.
That's glorious. I love it.
Well, Hatter, we've let you be in the corner for a while. Say something about yourself, sir.
I mean, you guys were on a roll. I just wasn't going to interrupt with a topic I didn't know anything about.
Well, what's the topic that we don't know anything about?
Well, I don't know about you personally, but I tend to spend a lot of time over in the shonen section. I really enjoy my action-adventure stuff. There are a lot of anime that are very good right now, and I'm desperately craving new seasons. Please give me more Jujutsu.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the area I live over in. I also spend a lot of time in the big robot section of anime. I like my mechas.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to have to be a part, Hatter, where you are going to have to convince me to watch. I'll do it. I'll give it the 3-episode rule, but I won't be happy about it. Okay,
well, then I have to ask you the question of, do you want mech warfare or big robots? Because those are two very different genres.
And I am interested in neither.
I know.
Which is hilarious, because one of my favorite anime growing up was Escaflowne, which had both.
Escaflowne was more big robots. That wasn't mech warfare.
Okay.
Mech warfare
is Gundam.
Right? Yeah.
And Gundam equivalent things like I want to say it's Macross.
Yeah.
Whereas big robot is things like Gurren Lagann, Big O, Escaflowne.
Oh, I loved Gurren Lagann and Big O.
I did like Gurren Lagann.
So yeah, there's some big robot stuff, you know.
Darling in the Franxx.
Okay, that one I liked it until the end.
That's because the ending was
that's
terrible.
The general consensus.
You just stop at the second to the last episode, and then it's over.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The big twist is where it lost me. Just like in Gurren Lagann, the same big twist lost me. Actually, no, yeah. Gurren Lagann lost me at episode 7.
I mean, that's understandable, but it is worth it to keep going.
I did keep going. I just didn't like it anymore.
That's what happens when you get too attached to a character.
No, that's what happens when a character dies needlessly.
He didn't die needlessly. He wasn't the main character.
He was fridged.
Anyways, that is a whole other thing. We will go into there.
Yeah.
The Gurren Lagann episode?
I mean, I don't think I wouldn't.
Let's do it.
Look, we're going to have a lot of episodes, but I feel like we should stick with the multiple anime per episode thing. Unless we were dedicating specific ones, such as Fruits Basket or Sailor Moon.
I mean, I could definitely see Gurren Lagann fitting into a theme of anime that felt nostalgic from our childhood, but came out when we were adults.
I mean, it didn't though.
I was in college.
Yeah, I was 17 when I first watched Gurren Lagann.
That's close enough to an adult.
I was 17.
I mean,
wasn't it?
I got pregnant shortly after, so yeah.
I mean,
Definitely an adult.
Yeah.
Slight difference there. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
When
I thought it came out earlier. Huh.
exactly, that's the whole point. It felt like a 90s, early 2000s anime, but very much was not.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, we have been rambling for about 30 minutes now. I would say that's a good indication of who we are, and I got one bit of the art done that you guys will see. So you've seen one hint at what we will be talking about in the next episode.
I'm excited.
We still haven't decided on a name though, so I guess we should do that, huh?
I mean, yeah, but we can
yes.
workshop that between now and then.
Haha, so
Yeah.
when I said we'll decide today in the podcast, I lied. But you'll know when it comes out, so haha.
I mean, we discussed in the podcast, we just didn't settle.
That's true.
We've
That's
got time.
We do.
Yeah.
Do we want to discuss do we want to, at the end of the episode, if we have it planned out, what our next 3 are? Do we want to announce those?
Yes, I like. Yeah, we should do that. Why don't we each introduce the anime that we have chosen?
Alright, well, I have chosen My Dress Up Darling with the beautiful sewing machine on the screen.
My anime is The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest.
And mine is going to be Sasaki and Miyano, which I just butchered the pronunciation of. So tell me how I said it wrong in the comments.
That's great. Do we want to plug our individual stuff at the end and such? Or no?
Yeah, sure. I mean, realistically, we probably should have plugged in the beginning with the who we are, but we didn't, because, yeah. We're new at this, guys.
We're not professionals, that's the point.
Fair.
Eh. Fake it till you make it.
I am Lulu Soul. I am a Twitch streamer and artist, digital artist / illustrator. I stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with my art. You can also find me pretty much anywhere on social media under Lulu Soul, including in the comments below. And yeah, I make art and stuff. Yay.
Yummy Brook. I am also a Twitch streamer. Variety, video games, art, D&D. We talk about a lot of mental health and gay stuff. And
I like
also
gay
I'm
stuff.
everybody's mom.
Hi, I'm Hatter, and I don't do any of that. I'm just here to have a good time.
All right, you guys. That's going to be the end of the podcast.
Have a good one.
Bye.